Okay, brothers and sisters, continuing in my diary here, I'm going to start from June the 16th, 1972. Do you remember what you were doing back in June the 16th, June 16th, 1972? What day was that? That was Friday, okay? So this is page 68 of my diary. I'm not going through every day, but back then when I wrote in my diary, I wrote sometimes 2-3 pages to cover one day. A lot of people would just maybe write 5, 6, 10, 15 sentences to cover the day, you know, just covering the most important things. But back then, like I said, I wrote really detailed diary entries. You know, woke up, had breakfast, had this, put on these clothes, met so-and-so. Anyway. Alright, here we go. Hope this isn't too boring for you. It gets better, but this is just when I was in 8th grade in summer of 72. So today I slept in until 10 o'clock. Today was a big day. I called Brian and told him to hurry over. First, I had to help him clean the house. I vacuumed the living room and bedroom. I cleaned up the bathroom. I washed the sink and bathtub. Wow. Then we went swimming at Oak Park. That was fun. I built up courage to dive off the high dive. It's been a while since I have. You know, I don't remember diving off the high dive at that early of an age. I was a pretty short kid back then. In 8th grade, I would have been about maybe 4'11". 4'11" at the most, maybe 5 foot. 95 pounds. So if I landed in the water incorrectly, it probably wouldn't have hurt that much, being so small and so light. But anyway, it's been a while since I have. Then Brian and I went on the low board. I did flips and he did a 1.5. I never could do a 1.5, but I tried. We mostly dived. Then I saw a black kid that I met from Mary Graham Hall. We were surprised. Anyway, Brian and I spotted a good-looking chick. She was with another chick. At 2 o'clock, we split. We changed and went to pick up Brett. That's my cousin, Brett Bartlett. He was swimming in his pool. He was or wasn't? He was, I think I put, yeah. He was swimming in his pool. So Brian and I picked up the Grahavas. Grahavas, that would be Joey Grahava and Raymond Grahava. We picked up the Grahavas. Brian dropped me by my house. I changed and got ready to go play miniature golf. Brian went to get Brett. They picked me up and we left. Grandma was nice enough to give me $2. Anyway, I hopped in the back with Raymond. When we reached Swenson's golf cart, Brian changed his mind and we went to some pool hall. Brian, Brett, and I played a game of rotation. Brett won. Then I played Brian a game of 8-ball. I almost won. Later, we left. We wasn't having as much fun as we thought we would have. We rode around for a while. Then we picked up a hitchhiker. We drove through the avenue. I guess that would probably be Pacific Avenue. We drove through the avenue and dropped him off. Later, we hit a hubcap. We started laughing. The lady behind us asked, whose it was, but we didn't know. Brian stopped at the Jolly Cone. I ordered a burrito and a Coke. After everyone got what they wanted, or what they ordered, we left. Brian kept hitting the brakes. He kept hitting the brakes and making our Coke spill all over us. Can you imagine that? We're drinking our Coke, and Brian is going along and just hitting his brakes, and the Coke is splashing all over us. Kids' tricks, right? Well, how old was I? 14. Brian would have been at least 16, maybe 17. I think he was 2 or 3 years older than me. So, you know, he liked to fool around like that. We all did. We stopped at Joey at Joey's and let him off, and Raymond. We stopped at Joey and let him and Raymond off. Joey Grajava. Then Brian drove us back to his house. Brian went to work later. Brett and I just sat around. At 8:10, I ate a piece of walnut pie and had a glass of milk. Boy, that walnut pie was good. My great-grandmother used to make walnut pie instead of pecan pie because we had, what, three walnut trees in our yard, front and backyard. So it was convenient to use walnuts instead of pecans. But the ingredients and recipe is basically the same. Let's see. Rick came over and picked me up. Rick came and picked me up. That's my foster brother, Rick Clough. I got in the car. Brett told me to call Andy. To call Andy or Cindy? I don't know who this is. On our way home. Rick said that Bev and Bill and Tammy and Lee went fishing. Jackie was over Aunt Mary's. When I got home, I watched TV for a while and went to bed at 10:30. June 17th, 1972, Saturday. Today I woke up at 10 o'clock. Bill went to summer camp, so at 11 o'clock I watched the baseball game. After that was over, I helped Bev clean the house. I dusted the rooms and then went outside. I practiced with Lee on hitting and catching the baseball. At dinner time, Chuck, mother, and brother came over. Chuck's mother and brother came over, and something brother Gary. They talked until it was time to eat. Bev was barbecuing chicken. Lee, Tammy, and I jumped over boxes. I jumped over a box that stood 4 feet high. Okay, after dinner, we all went inside. Rick went to the show with Danielle. Danelle Borelli. That was her name, Danelle Borelli, who had a brother named Dan Borelli. Let's see, Dan was about a year younger than me, and Danelle was, I think, a year older than me, or maybe 2 years older than me. Anyway, inside the house, everyone talked and enjoyed themselves. Bev told me to get my wallet. She kept my $20. I counted all the money real slick-like. I said there was $21.93. Chuck said there is $23. So I bet him something I was right. I bet him a Coke that I was right. So Chuck and I played quick. I slapped the heck out of his hands. That's when you go like this and you got to move your hands. So if my hands are like this, the other person's hands are under mine, so I got to move them. But you can cross over, you can go like this or like this, Just a game to see how quick we were. Don't know if you guys play that today, if kids play that today. I'm sure they do. Okay, so I slapped the heck out of his hands. They were red. I did the same to his brother Gary. This was a game this is a game that nobody has beat me in. Later, Gary and I lagged. I won 20 cents off him. Then I got the deck of cards out. The highest card drawed won. I pulled out an ace. He said, let's play poker. I said, okay. Each card he gave me was a heart. 6, 7, 8, 9. And something. I had a straight flush. Well, it must have been a 10. I had a straight flush. I bet $20. So he said, lay it out. It was setting by Bev. So we showed our hands. He tried to tell me that a joker, an ace of diamonds, a 6. No, can't even read my writing. He tried to tell me that a joker, an ace of diamonds, a 6 of spades, a 9 of spades, and a 4 of diamonds beat my hand. I said, pay up. I said, pay up. He was just joking, of course. He knew I whipped him. It got me mad. Bev was always saying, Carl, you'll lose your money. Here I am. I just won $20. So I said, be that way. See if I ever pay him, if I lose. So Chuck and Gary walked out the back door. Bev told me they wanted me. So I walked out the door and saw Gary hiding. He grabbed me and called Chuck. They tried to dunk me in the calf tank. But I said, no thanks, I am no cow. I fought and struggled. So Chuck squirted me with the hose. Is this what I get for winning? I mean, I'm getting punished here. I don't even remember this stuff. But Gary was just trying to get back at me because I won $20 off him. And he wouldn't pay up. Or he wouldn't pay it. So I changed on the back. So I changed on the back porch. It was cool and refreshing, but not at this time of night. Later, everyone left, so I just went to bed at 11:30. June 18th, 1972, Sunday. Today I woke up at 10:30. I ate breakfast and went outside. Outside I practiced jumping over boxes. Well, I must have liked to practice jumping back then. Don't remember that. When Bill came home, I asked him if he got me the job working out at the mess hall. He said they were still talking about it. He was in the National Guard, and I was trying to get a job working during the summer serving the Army officers out there, which I eventually got, by the way. I sure wanted the job. It would give me a little spending money, plus money for next year. When Bill came home, we went inside to eat dinner. After dinner, I watched TV. Later, Rick came home from his long ride uptown. He used Rick Joaquin's 10-speed. Later at night, we had popcorn. Bev rubbed some cream on Rick's sunburn. I went to bed at about 11 o'clock. June 19th, 1972, Monday. Today I woke up at 10 o'clock. I ate breakfast and helped with the dishes. Then I looked in the living room window. I noticed another 10-speed. I went outside to find out where the bike came from. It was my bike. He had just picked it up from Donnell's. He fixed the chain and the brakes. After that, we rode around on the street. Later after dinner, about 6 o'clock, we rode around White Lane. White Lane was just the next major street over from Baldwin Lane. Then I said, let's ride down by the school. I told him that a basketball game was probably going on. As we coasted along the streets, I saw Becky Boko and David Wilson on 10 speeds. They were right behind us. When we stopped at the corner, Rick said he was going over Pat and Roland's. When we arrived there, we parked the bikes and went around the back. Roland was making drawers. I went inside to get Theron. We came out and talked. Rick and Roland went down the street on the bikes. Theron and I did pull-ups. At 7:30, Rick and I headed home. Going down Wilmarth, I saw Mike Benitez helping his dad work on their new house. It only took 3 minutes to get halfway home. When we did get home, Chuck was there. Bev told Rick and me to get our swimming suits. What's this say? Because Russ next door had invited us to go swimming over his house. Okay? The water was nice and warm. I was the first to jump in. Then Rick jumped in. My toe still hurt from jumping over the boxes. I sprained my toe, but swimming didn't hurt it at all. Rick dunked me a couple of times. About 9:30 we left. The air hit our bodies, and boy, was that chilly. My eyes were so hazy from the chlorine. When I put my pajamas on, I went in the front room and watched TV. The kids had just went to bed. Then Bev came in and told me that I was going to go with Bill to work. So I knew I had the job. I was rather happy. I limped to bed. I couldn't put pressure on my toe, so I walked rather slow. I brushed my teeth and then asked when I got my something back, radio back. Bev said that I could have it. So I got it and plugged it in, then went to bed. That was the radio that my mother gave me. It was a brown radio, and I had it when I was out at Mary Graham Hall Children's Shelter. Alright, so do I need to keep going here? Let's see here. Let's skip a little bit here. June 22nd on a Thursday, 1972. Today I ate and got ready for work. Today I ate. Well, of course, I usually do eat breakfast. I didn't even say I ate breakfast. I just said, today I ate and got ready for work. Bill picked me up at 11 o'clock. After work, I went swimming. I met these two men. I found out one of the men was going to retire in a week. Anyway, I practiced doing flips and dives off the board. I practiced swimming underwater to see how far I could go. After I got out of the pool, I got well acquainted with one of the men. He works out at the hall with me. He works out in let me read this. He works out in the mess hall, I guess. Yeah, in the mess hall with me. He told me there were ping pong tables and pool tables over at the service center. Later, Bill picked me up. We went home and ate. I went to bed early. Yeah, I got really good at ping pong back then. Pretty good. Because I met this Asian ping pong player, and he taught me how to serve and slam and everything. So I was pretty coordinated when it came to sports, and that was fun. June 23rd, 1972, Friday. Today I woke up and got ready for work. Today was rather fun. After work, I went over to the swimming pool. I saw Hank and his brother playing. Another boy with freckles was there. Well, I was watching them play. They weren't very good. Anyway, Hank was talking about a show called The House That Dripped Blood. As I started to say something, Bill pulled up and I left. He was sure taking me home awfully early. He said he was going someplace, but I didn't really bother to listen. Later, when I got home, we ate dinner. Then Bev asked me where Bill left, but I just shook my head. Eventually, he came home. He had flown up to Fresno with Russ. About 3 o'clock, I started writing in my diary. Then Bev called me. Since Russ was throwing a party for all the officers, Bev asked me if I wanted to spend 2 days with my grandma. Well, that was pretty cool. That was my great-grandmother Lois. So, she took me over in about an hour. Later, when I arrived at Grandma's, I called Brett. Then later, he came down. We played some rummy. Then he left. I went over to the Jolly Cone, and Mother bought me some burritos. I played some rock music on the jukebox. Then I played the pinball machines. After that, we headed home. I sat around the rest of the day. At 11:30, I crashed. Went to bed, in other words. Okay. I think we can skip that, and I was very active in playing sports, ping pong, chess, cards, rummy, you name it, when I was in 8th grade. Now this is all before I made a profession of faith in Christ. So let me go to July 5th, 1972, Wednesday. Today July 6th, 1972, Thursday. Today I went over my grandma's because Bev and Jackie were going window shopping. I brought my can't read this because it's in. I brought my horror stories. Oh, I brought my horror stories that I wrote so that Ronnie Heaton could read them. When I was at Grandma's, she greeted me, and Fawn was there. LaFawn was there. That's my Aunt LaFawn, my great-grandmother's daughter, youngest daughter. She was there because it was her birthday. July 6th was her birthday. Interesting. When she left, I called Brett. Grandma gave me some money, and I went to the Jolly Cone and played the pinball machines. When we got home, I played Brett's All-Star baseball game. Babe Ruth is the best. Babe Ruth is the best something. Anyway, after we played the baseball game, Brett went home. I waited for Bev to pick me up. The phone rang and Grandma answered it. Bev said she would pick me up tomorrow at 2 o'clock. So right away, I went over Ronnie's. He read my horror stories. He thought they were good, but they needed polishing up. I helped Ronnie paint his shutters. Then he took me on his Honda. We took the railroad tracks. Then we went over Mike Bennett's. I think he had to take the railroad tracks because he wasn't 16, so he couldn't legally ride on the road back then, if I remember right. Then we went over Mike Bennett's. I bought his stopwatch from him for 75 cents. I remember that. I was going to take Ronnie over some chick's house, such as Cora's or Nikki's, but I didn't. So we went over Cindy Whiteside's. She was sick, so we headed back home. I went back over Grandma's. I watched TV and went to bed. I'm wondering if there was a day that went by, or a night that went by, that I didn't watch TV. I grew up on TV. And, you know, I don't even watch TV now. And I don't think it's a good thing for the most part, as TV is becoming very immoral and wicked, and a lot of nudity, profanity, all kinds of things taking place now. But so TV's gotten progressively worse since the 70s. And what more can I say? There's better ways to spend your time, like reading a good book, reading the Bible, praying, visiting the sick. But you say, well, I was only in 8th grade. Okay. I could have done more constructive things, but kids will be kids. And what did the Apostle Paul say? When I was a child, I thought as a child, I spoke as a child, but when I became a man, I put away childish things, or something like that. So it's part of growing up. We do foolish things, and a lot of it depends on how we were reared by our parents, or, you know, those that had supervision over us. So let's see. I was conning the July 7th, 1972. Today I woke up and had pancakes and bacon. I went down to Brett's and went swimming. We played baseball in the pool. Imagine playing baseball in the pool. Well, we probably had a plastic bat and a plastic ball, and we stood up and, we made our bases, and just a game we played. We played baseball in the pool. Afterward, we played Clue. I won all 3 games. Again, these are things, as at that age, I just had to record that I won. But I was pretty honest. If I lost, I usually mention that too. But I was very big competitive, so I mentioned these kind of things. I won, I lost. It was a big deal back then. When you're growing up, you measure yourself by your peers. How fast you are, how strong you are, how tough you are, who can beat who up, And that's just the way we were as kids. At 1:50, Grandma called and said that Bev was coming to pick me up. When she did, she took me to the barber shop. Wow, did I get it short. I was conning the barber out of cutting my hair short. When Bev picked me up, we left. When Bill came home from work, he saw my hair. He liked it, but I sure didn't. No, I didn't. Short hair looked sick. Bill didn't know what the dry look means. The dry look. Yeah, I had long hair. In fact, let me get a picture of what I looked like back then. You wouldn't believe it. I'll be right back. I wasn't planning this, so hold on. Okay, I'm back. This is something I put together when I was probably in high school. And I'm going to show you these 2 pictures when I had long hair. Well, let me just show you these pictures here. Can you see that? This is me in 7th grade, before I moved in with my foster parents. This is me at Waverly. So, it was way down. It was below my neck, but my hair was very wavy and curly. So, but here was really, I didn't like the way it looked here. This was better. I parted it down the middle, but it started straightening out a little bit, but it was very wavy. Here's me in kindergarten, since we're looking at pictures. Kindergarten, 1st grade, 2nd grade. Looks like I lost my tooth here. 4th grade, 5th grade. This is when I lived with my aunt and uncle, Jareen and Ronnie. I went to Dakota School in 4th grade. 5th grade, Rancho Verde. 6th grade was Emmanuel White. That's when I was about 11 going on 12, I think. 7th grade, William Hopkins. 8th grade was out in Lathrop. Don't remember the name of the school. Waverly, 8th grade. 9th grade, Linden High School. 10th grade at Linden High School. 11th grade, Linden High School. That's when I got glasses. Boy, I took an eye exam one time. I couldn't see very well, so I had to get glasses in 11th grade. And there I am, the nerd. Yeah, I was a nerd. So this is my senior year, and my hair was very straight, and I had it styled at a barber there. So anyway, enough of that. Our looks really do change over the years, don't they? So I was over here on the 8th, wasn't it? Let me see. Oh, he didn't. Bill, my foster father, didn't know what the dry look meant. I don't want a bunch. Oh, I see. I don't want a bunch of grease and oil